Good morning, Tarot fam, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. We are going to do a general tarot spread here, meaning this is good for all signs. Of course, it is a general message, so not everything that comes through in this reading will resonate with every single one of you. Do keep that in mind. Highly recommend you only take away what resonates for you, release the rest. Come in with an open heart and an open mind. And of course, be open to the fact that some messages may resonate for you at a later date. If you are here, it is very likely that you came across these messages for a reason. That, of course, is up to you to interpret. Trust and follow your own intuition. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. All right, guys, let's do it. I keep cutting the deck at similar cards here. I saw the Lovers, I saw Queen of Swords, I saw Temperance. Let's see what comes up. All right, so let's do it. Let's see what comes up. For the Tarot fam, what messages are we relaying to them today? The Four of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, Judgment, and the Ace of Swords. All right, let's take a look at the bottom of the deck. The Page of Cups, so potentially a small blessing, a small offer. This could be a job offer, this could be a romantic offer, this could be an apology. Let's take a deeper look at the messages here and see if this will all tie into Page of Cups at the bottom of your deck. So I'm going to turn these around and interpret them for you. So typically Four of Pentacles talks about holding back, as does the Nine of Wands. So if these are representing two different people, and my intuition tells me it very likely is, it's almost like a stalemate, like who's going to break first, who's going to give first. Both seem to be holding back. This one, Nine of Wands, we frequently call it the wounded warrior. So I feel like this person's been burned before, or if this person has approached this Four of Pentacles person, they've already been rejected once, or they feel slighted or feeling some type of way. Spoiler alert, though, I mean, the fact that this is the bottom of the deck, I feel like someone's going to break, unless this is a new person being introduced into the narrative here, but let's follow this through. After these two that, again, sort of are at odds or not speaking, excuse me, Judgment typically says going back to the past to fix something, to do something right. Totally makes sense. This is coming up. Mercury is officially in retrograde and will be, I think, until, I want to say like October 18th, 19th, something like that. So yeah, for the next several weeks, we have, Mercury slowing down its orbit, so appearing to move backwards, and frequently, as many of you may know, during Mercury retrogrades, a lot of time the past comes back up. We hear from exes, we hear from friends of our past, we hear about things that essentially need reconciliation, or things that maybe need a second go around if they weren't done quite to perfection. It's usually a good thing in that we can get something done right. But with that, I always want to tell people, and you will hear this from other astrologers as well, not always the best time to start something new. Be cognizant of snafus with, technology, misunderstandings, any sort of communication going awry. Now, if this is something from the past that you have been holding on to, and I think you have, it's possible that you are hoping it comes back around again. And I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this, but I'm sort of getting, okay, well, if you're hoping for this to come back around, what the hell are you waiting for? Right? Like, if you're trying to will this person to come speak to you, I guess I'm just wanting to ask you to ask yourself, well, why can't you be the one to make the first move? And I'm sure you have an answer. I'm not sure if it's a valid answer. Maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, going back to the past to clear the air. Or maybe it is just to sever something once and for all. If, for some of you, maybe you've been going through a divorce, or maybe you've been going through a turbulent time with a friend, and it's possible that you reach a point where you're at peace with it, but perhaps being at peace with it means either I'm willing to let it go and sever, Ace of Swords, or I'm willing to open myself up to look at things from a higher perspective, right? To be the bigger person, to see things from their perspective, right? and welcome some new chapter with open arms. But if it truly is a new start, right, you sort of have to hit reset and detach, cut out, let go of past wounds, past resentment, if you really are going to give this another go. So yeah, I mean, to me, the messages are pretty clear here, that whatever or whoever is not communicating, I actually kind of want to pull a clarifier, see if we could get a little bit more tea, a little bit more into the drama of what's going on here. But the thing is, if this truly is your message, you probably already know. So for those who are hoping for reconciliation or hoping, I don't even know if that's the right word. Yes, reconciliation maybe, but hoping for... I'm sort of getting this idea of reopening the wound. And I know that's not a very pleasant term, but I actually feel like it's very accurate. In fact, it's so funny, as I'm looking at this, someone may actually work in the medical field or a surgeon. The way I said something about opening up a fresh wound or something, every now and then words come out for a very specific reason. So anyway, I'm just putting out there someone who maybe works in the health industry or medical industry. I feel like opening up a wound is a good metaphor or phrase for saying this, because I don't think it's going to be all fun and games. I don't think this is like the picture perfect romantic, Cinderella story where I've missed you too, let's get back together. I'm not saying it won't end that way. For some of you, it may actually end very positively. Page of Cups. It's small, but it's a good offer that you can do something with. But there's huge room for growth and potential. Like, it's not fully fleshed out yet, if that makes sense. I don't think it's going to be an easy conversation because someone would have already jumped up to have it. I feel like both people sort of feel like slighted in some way, or they're expecting the other person to give a little. And I can tell you, no matter who or what this is, you both are going to need to give a little. You are not completely in the right. And I will also say you're not completely in the wrong. It takes two to tango. That is absolutely what's going on here. Just for kicks, I'm going to pull a little bit more on kind of what's going on between these two. Let me grab another deck here. Actually, let me go behind me. What deck do we want to use? Sure, let's use this one. So what's between these two people? And of course, up to you if you're choosing to view it romantically or career-wise. Clarity and strength. Interesting. So strength says to me there is a strong bond here. There was something. I also just heard stubborn. The idea of fixed fire. Also fighting fire with fire, right? Well, you did me wrong, so I'm going to do you wrong. The irony is, I think both of you kind of are like, but I feel bad. Maybe this truly is an apology, right? Maybe this is between siblings or family members, right? But I think you're both holding on to resentment and, ways that this person did you wrong. There's stubbornness, but I think there's also, I'm hearing the word loyalty. I'm not really sure how to fit that in, but sure, loyalty might be coming through for some of you here. I think together you guys could be a very strong team, but I'm going to say it, guys. Ready? Brace yourself. You're letting your ego get in the way. If you truly love this person, you need to meet them where they are at. You need to practice patience. You need to encourage and support them, and vice versa, right? It's a two-way street. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're not getting it back from this person, then they might not be your person, right? And in which case, if this isn't new communication, it could be severing it once and for all. At one point in time, what was between these people was strong. And so this is so beautiful to me that it's almost like this little crystal ball. It's almost like looking back in time, right? Judgment, going back and trying to see with more clarity, where were you wearing rose-tinted glasses? Where were you maybe looking at this in terms of, it was so great as long as I don't think about these three things that I hate, or those three things that they did that were really, in poor judgment or poor character. For others of you, I could read this multiple ways. You may look back and realize I was really stubborn about that one thing. And in hindsight, if my being really stubborn or selfish or whatever it is means me losing them, means them being defensive or putting me at arm's length or putting me at a distance, man, maybe I was wrong, or maybe I can give a little, whereas before I wasn't able, or I wasn't ready to give that part of me. Maybe, maybe I wasn't ready to put a title on it or be committed. But if it means losing them, well, you know what? New thought, new idea. Maybe over some time I can see the error of my way and I am willing to give on this a little bit. I'm not sure who's who. And it doesn't really matter, right? There's two people in this scenario. And again, neither one is fully right or wrong. I think both people are looking back and wishing they had said something or did something differently, right? I feel like this person has a stubbornness to them, but honestly though, it's kind of 50-50. I think this person does too. I think this person is going to have to give a little bit, because the Four of Pentacles always says they're full up, they're guarding the pentacles with every inch of their body. So if a brand new blessing were to come along, right, they can't accept it. They don't have an arm to reach out and take it or accept the blessing from the universe, right? This person's ready to give up, but they're still hanging in there for one reason. And I don't know if this applies, but something I always like to say with this card is, who or what are you searching for permission from, or permission from whom? He stands at his post, right? The wounded warrior. And I always note he doesn't look very happy. He kind of looks like he's starting to question, I've put all this time and energy into staying at my post here, into, whatever, building this fortress, standing guard. Jokingly, I frequently say, can I go to the bathroom? Can when's my lunch break? If you're asking, well, you're going to be waiting a really long time. And I mean asking for permission. At what point do you say, you know what? This is where it ends. I'm done doing this. Or you know what? I'm going to be a very good advocate for myself. Maybe it's not about throwing in the towel. Maybe it's not about giving up, but it is about doing something differently, because again, the standstill. You're going to be here a long time if you're waiting for the universe to be like, yes, do this. Yes, do that. Meditate, channel what you can through your own intuition, through your tarot cards, however you connect with the divine. But something here has got to give, something here has got to change. And I will say this, I don't think, if this is you, I don't think you're wrong in hoping this person changes their ways. But if you're waiting on that, I would not hold your breath. Because ultimately, that's out of your control. You need to focus the control more on you and your life and what you're doing to, seek happiness, whatever this represents to you. This is a big card of expressing yourself, especially from an emotional capacity, because ultimately, that's what you have control over. You can't will them or, I'm hearing an inappropriate word, I'm trying to rephrase it, will their mind, or will them to change their mind. I wouldn't suggest doing that either, in terms of some sort of kind of like, spell, if you will. I think you should focus on you and manifest what you want. But yeah, this person kind of has to come to terms with the fact that they need to change their ways. And I will say, I guess, I'm not picking sides, but I think this person needs to change their expectation of what they can get from this person. If this person, does a 180 and all of a sudden comes through and isn't selfish or changes their ways, that's great, but you can't put your life on pause waiting for that to happen. So no matter how this ends, essentially, I think you will eventually have strong clarity. No, I think you will have a lot of clarity on the situation. That expression, hindsight is 20/20. I know that seems cheesy, but I am wanting to say that with judgment. It's like, if you can rise above this, I think you're going to be able to look back on whoever or whatever this is and see it with much more clarity. I think you're going to be able to see the error of your own way. I think you're going to have, new thoughts, new ideas, new epiphanies on how you want to reorganize or restructure this relationship or a part of your life or where you allocate your time. And I also think I really do want to hone in on the fact that there were parts of this person that weren't so great, and maybe you let it slide a little bit too long. And so I'm not here to bully you or attack you, but essentially I think this is an indication for you in any relationship, rather than sort of hiding behind the guise of, I'm hearing Libra. What is the diplomacy? Being diplomatic. It's actually better to speak your truth, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, because essentially what happens if you let this behavior slide too much in relationships and you're not being treated well and not being respected it's gonna come out sort of this is so accurate for where the planets are, in like a Pluto-esque way. It's like I've been storing it and burying it, and all of a sudden it's gonna explode, right? So you're better off having the small, difficult, maybe not difficult, but uncomfortable conversations sooner than later. So that way you set the rules early. You know, you both have an established understanding of what each other needs in this relationship. All right. And for those of you, let me see if I actually have I do. All right, it was meant to be. I was going to say, for those of you, if this is romantic, we'll pull some romance angels. Now, it might not be, right? Again, this could totally be with a family member. This could be with a boss at work, a coworker. The thing is, even with this kind of crystal ball too, I feel like you both are thinking about each other. And you already know what their gripes are with you. That's sort of what I'm wanting to say. Whether you believe they're valid or not, if you truly hope that this comes together again, I would try, as uncomfortable as it may be, to really put yourself in their positions and just try to see it from their point of view for a moment, right? Take the higher ground, take the higher road. The minute we think that, you know, we're doing everything right and they're doing everything wrong, you're out of balance. You're out, you know, that's just not reality, right? It takes two to tango. So you did participate in this relationship. Again, I'm not victim shaming if something terrible happened, but ultimately, you know, you always have a choice. You always have agency. So by choosing to participate in this, okay, acknowledge it, accept it, but then look back at how would you do it differently next time? Because clearly something didn't go right here. How would you fix it? How would you take accountability in a new and different way? That one almost popped up. That one did. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. That's so Page of Cups to me too. You know, the pages, they look like children. They're very young. They're sometimes students. They're very youthful. They're playful. Look at his costume. Look at his clothing. It's like there's a performance element of, I love this person and I want to impress them, so I'm going to wear my, you know, I'm going to wear this, whatever that is. All right. One more. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. But there's an angel up above. That says to me, like, this is divinely guided. As crazy as that is to believe sometimes when you're really in the thick of it and you're like, you know, you maybe start to question your own faith, right? Maybe having some sort of spiritual crisis. This is divinely guided. And again, as uncomfortable as this change or this a very important conversation, I would say, with Judgment and the Ace of Swords, it's absolutely crucial for that to come to the surface, or else these two, again, they're going to be stagnant. They're going to be stalemates for quite some time. And I mean, essentially, your one task here in this lifetime is to grow and develop as a spiritual human being, right? So if you reach stagnancy, again, however you choose to change is up to you, but this can't go on much longer. You know, 9 to the 10, any 10 in tarot says, wrap it up. This is the end of a cycle. Sometimes it's the 10 of Cups and it's a beautiful cycle and it's, oh my gosh, you know, look at all we've accomplished. This is like, wow, we've put a lot of effort and a lot of time into waiting or doing this thing, building this thing, taking action on it, and yet the results seem to be sort of lackluster. I would even say, is this card asking you, can you put all that strength and all that endurance into something that actually benefits your life in a more spiritual way, in a spiritual capacity, rather than maybe giving too much to someone who really isn't giving much back to you? And there is a very heavy energy here too, so I do like this. Even if playfulness doesn't necessarily mean with your romantic partner, and it might, right? These are romance angel cards. I pulled that specifically for that. However, like playfulness in your own life, remembering what brings you joy and what brings you pleasure, focusing your energy on those types of things that just raise your vibe. I mean, I think that's good advice for anyone out there. All right, collective, I am going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Trying this new format of just showing the cards. Let me know what you think. And I know it's been kind of a weird couple months. I've been on and off of YouTube. Nothing bad, just life changes, and I only want to bring you my best energy. So that's sort of been the delays, and I can pretty much promise that it's not going to be exactly the Monday through Thursday thing for a bit, but I am going to try and be more consistent. That's something I'm trying to do. So thank you for being patient with me. Other than that, sending you all much love, and I will hopefully see you very soon. Bye, guys.